Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the Intuitive Energy Forecast for April 12th, 2022. I'm Arlene Grace, an intuitive energy coach, master numerologist, and channel. So I was tuning into the energy today, and it gave me two visions, and I'm just going to focus on this one. And it was showing me rainfall. It was showing me this valley. And so this valley is lush and it's green, and there were streams and there were lakes and there was a river, and the sun was shining, and you could see through my eyes that there were these little tiny droplets, energy that was being lifted out of the water, and that the energy, this water, was evaporating, and it was moving up into the atmosphere, and it was becoming clouds, right? So the water, the sun's rays was beating on the water, and the water was evaporating, and it was coming up through the atmosphere to become clouds. Now, we know that clouds don't necessarily stand still. And so the clouds continue to move, and as they're continuing to move, they're continuing to gain more water, right? They're continuing to get heavy. And as these clouds continue to move, there's a shift in temperature. And with the heaviness of the clouds, now it starts to rain. And it's funny because I look down and I look at the gazillion blades of grass and the trees and all of the things, and the grass isn't, screaming and crying and saying, hey, bring back my water. Nor the lakes or the streams or the rivers. No one here in nature, none of these elements are screaming, hey, come back, give me back my water. You took something from me, right? Give it back. There is no lack. There is no, anger. There's no frustration. There's not enoughness, right? There's none of that. And the rain just continues to flow. And as it flows, like, you can see how the water is just trailing down, and water moves. And so it's moving down the hills, and it's moving back into the streams, and it's hitting some blades of grass that weren't where the original water was, right? And so it's just continuing to flow, and it's continuing to move, and there are no complaints. It's just this circuit, right? This circuit that continues to flow in the environment. And it takes me back to us, really, because we have this energy of 4 and the 9 of diamonds. And the 4 is really about structure, security, it's safety. It's about, sometimes on the lower perception, it's really control, because many of us try to control our outside experience. We try to control other people. We try to control our money. We try to control how we spend. We budget. We try to control other people. We do things for other people in order to receive that idea of safety, security, validation, love, all of the things, right? It's really the condition. It's the human condition. We've all been raised in this way, where we have these expectations of others, and others have expectations of us, right? We have these expectations that we will care for others in a certain way when they get older, or that, you're my parent, and so you need to support me, and so you need to pay for this, and you need to give me money for this, and blah, 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 and all the things, or, expectations that we will sacrifice ourselves for others, right? Simple one, a mother or a father sacrificing their life so that they could support their children, so that the children can go to school and become doctors or nurses or whatever, right? And so we have this condition. And the invitation today is to release the condition, to release this false sense of security, of safety, of control, and to look at the debts that you hold, to look at the debts that you carry. And debts may not necessarily mean money, though it can, but debts in the material, debts with other people. I'm indebted to this person because they've done this for me, and they are indebted to me because I did them this favor. The invitation is to look at, what are the debts that are actually binding you? What debts are binding you? and this beautiful opportunity to surrender and release them, right? This idea that everything is a circuit, everything is moving, everything is transmuting, everything is shifting, and this beautiful opportunity to see that, though we may have lent money to somebody or given money to someone, that it's a limit for us to believe that the money will only come from them. It's a limit for me to believe that my child support will only come from, or not my child support, but child support for my children will only come from their father. That there are actually possibilities that are available, that I could actually receive the funds, the money from other places, from crypto, from a new client, from someone just giving me $1,000, from finding money on the street, from it raining money on me, from all of these things, that we are being invited to release our debts that keep us bound. And the idea that it can only come in a certain way. And it's the same thing with partnerships, with relationships, with, if you were to be calling in, connection and love and intimacy and vulnerability with your partner, your romantic partner, well, you can definitely receive that in all of your relationships because you are desiring that, you're putting that out, right? If you desire connection and intimacy and vulnerability with someone, then you can bet you're probably going to receive feedback from your children, from your friends, from your parents, from whomever in your life. And so it's releasing the limitation that it can only come from that one person. Though the desire is that you want it from that person. It's just knowing that there is more available to you, and that to shift the idea of lack and limitation, that there really is no lack and limitation. In that vision, the blades of grass were not screaming, hey, bring me back my water. Hey, there's not enough. Oh my goodness, what are we going to do? Son, what did you do? I'm going to blame you. There wasn't any of that. There was just full trust, and this knowing that it will come when it will come. And so will you play with that today? Will you play with what debts keep me bound? What debts keep me tied? Am I willing to release the debt? And the release comes from the forgiveness, right? The forgiveness of, I thought that it could only come in one way. I thought, I'm angry at this person because they're not paying me back. Can you forgive them? Can you release that? Can you let them off the hook so that you left yourself off the hook? Right? Because this will shift your world. It will shift your money story. It will shift how you actually value yourself, because nothing is binding you. Nothing is tying you. And so imagine what it would be to be free of debt, right? Any debts that we actually do carry, and this invitation of taking a look at your debts. Are you afraid of, your bills? When you receive your bills, are you the person that throws it away or doesn't want to look at it or do the things? Like, I did the same thing, because every single time I saw one of my credit card statements come in, it'd be like, oh, I don't feel good. I feel shame. Where am I going to get the money? I would fall into this energy and momentum of, I don't like that, rather than just forgiving my debts, right? Your invitation is to make life simple today, and simplicity in the releasing your debts, because your debts are your limitations. And you can easily do that by coming into forgiveness of it. So play today, play with that. Take a look at your life and notice, where do you feel indebted to somebody? Where do you feel that someone owes you? And are you willing to let them go? Right? Letting them go means you're not cutting them off in your life. It just simply means letting go of that energy, letting go of that. I don't feel that. I get, frustrated, triggered, annoyed, whatever that is. And then just play with the idea of, well, what if money came in all of these other ways? What if it were possible that it could come magically through something else, through someone else, inspired? Because with all of this rainfall, with all of this transmutation and these shifts, like everything was inspired. Everything was just easy and simple. And we as humans love to complicate. So be simple, play with simple. Imagine life was simple. Not easy, simple. Beautiful. Questions, comments, please feel free to share and I will be happy to respond. Sending you all so much love and I will talk to you tomorrow. Bye for now.